November 28th, a date that has witnessed America make fateful choices that would lead to war, tragedy, and economic turmoil. It's a day when expansionist dreams triggered conflict, when military trust led to disaster, and when political promises backfired spectacularly. This documentary focuses on pivotal moments of failed diplomacy, military tragedy, and catastrophic economic policy. It provides a cohesive narrative about the dangers of unchecked ambition, connecting foreign policy, military operations, and domestic political decisions that all occurred on November 28th. What connects these events? A failure to understand the consequences of ambitious power. This is the story of America's greatest mistakes on November 28th. Throughout history, America's greatest strengths, its ambition, its military power, its political innovation, have sometimes become its greatest vulnerabilities when wielded without foresight. On this November 28th, we're examining three critical errors where ambition outpaced wisdom: a territorial grab that started a war, a military alliance that ended in tragedy, and a political revolution that created economic chaos. Let's begin with the decision that would redraw the map of North America. Mistake number 1, Texas Annexation, the war trigger, 1845. It's 1845. The Republic of Texas has been an independent nation for 9 years, but powerful forces in Washington are pushing to bring it into the Union. The context: President John Tyler, seeking a political legacy, pushed for Texas annexation despite knowing Mexico still claimed the territory and would view annexation as an act of war. The November 28th decision. On November 28, 1845, the U.S. Congress passed the joint resolution for annexing Texas to the United States, formally inviting Texas to become the 28th state. The mistake. This was a deliberate provocation to Mexico. The annexation ignored Mexico's consistent warnings and claims, and was driven by expansionist ideology rather than diplomatic wisdom. The U.S. essentially annexed a territory while knowing it meant annexing a war. The consequence: the annexation directly triggered the Mexican-American War, 1846 to 1848, which cost over 13,000 American lives and thousands more Mexican lives. While it gained the U.S. vast territories, California, New Mexico, Arizona, it also entrenched the slavery debate and set the stage for the Civil War. The lesson: territorial expansion without regard for diplomatic consequences and human cost creates legacy problems that can last for generations. Mistake number 2, Operation Deep Freeze, the Antarctic tragedy, 1979. From a 19th century war to a 20th century tragedy, where American military coordination would have devastating consequences. The context: the U.S. Navy, through Operation Deep Freeze, managed Antarctic logistics and communications for international scientific missions, including commercial flights. The November 28th tragedy. On November 28, 1979, Air New Zealand Flight 901, operating with U.S. navigation support, crashed into Mount Erebus in Antarctica, killing all 257 people aboard. The mistake: the U.S. Navy had provided flight path coordinates that were later discovered to be critically flawed. The investigation revealed a catastrophic failure in communication and verification between the U.S. military and civilian operators, with changed coordinates never being properly communicated. The consequence: the disaster remains New Zealand's deadliest peacetime tragedy. It revealed dangerous flaws in the U.S. military's civilian support operations and led to complete overhaul of Antarctic flight procedures, but at an unimaginable human cost. The lesson: even in well-established military-civilian partnerships, a single point of communication failure can have catastrophic consequences when not backed by rigorous verification systems. Mistake number 3, the Gingrich Revolution, economic unraveling, 1994. From military tragedy to economic policy, where a political victory would set the stage for future crises. The context: after 40 years of Democratic control, Republicans led by Newt Gingrich captured the House of Representatives with their Contract with America, promising fiscal responsibility and government reform. The November 28th implementation. While the election was earlier in November, it was by November 28, 1994, that the full scope of the Republican victory was clear and their legislative agenda was taking shape. The mistake. The Gingrich Revolution created an era of permanent political warfare and tax-cutting dogma that ignored long-term fiscal consequences. It established a pattern where deficit spending became acceptable if it served political goals, directly contributing to the explosion of national debt in subsequent decades. The consequence. The political norms broken during this period led to increasingly reckless fiscal policies under both parties, contributing to the 2008 financial crisis and creating a national debt that now threatens America's long-term economic stability. The lesson. Short-term political victories that abandon fiscal responsibility and institutional norms can create economic vulnerabilities that haunt the nation for generations. Conclusion. So, what connects territorial expansion, military coordination, and political revolution? They all represent moments when America's pursuit of power, whether geographical, military, or political, outpaced its wisdom and foresight. In each case, the failure to properly assess risks, communicate clearly, or consider long-term consequences turned ambition into tragedy. The desire for more land, more influence, more political control, blinded leaders to the costs of their actions. November 28th teaches us that power must be tempered with humility and ambition with wisdom. The greatest mistakes occur not when America is weak, but when it is strong enough to act without thinking through the consequences. Which of these examples of unchecked ambition do you find most concerning? Let me know in the comments. If you believe in learning from history's cautionary tales, please like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.